Welcome to the Great Lakes Lore Monday Mail Call. Aaron, what is it that we're doing here today?
We are looking at some questions from our most recent episode, The Paranormal is Personal. So we had some good feedback and some comments on that. So let's go ahead and get started. First up is Jordan, who I think chimed in on Facebook. He says, Hey guys, I love the show. Also been a fan of the Saucer Life. It's gratifying to hear other historians engage with more fringe topics. I really appreciate how you guys discuss the historical research process. It's so important. Should you guys ever go after more fringe topics involving certain shipwrecks or other weird things sunk in the Great Lakes, I think our research paths will cross. So yes, strange shipwrecks have been on our radar, haven't they, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any picked out. There are none that are going to appear in this little season that we're doing here. But I'm sure they will pop up. I love Great Lakes maritime history, but I've never done much research into paranormal maritime Great Lakes history.
Well, I know of at least one flying saucer that might have, made something crash in the Great Lakes. So,
Okay.
yeah. So that's definitely going to be, we could do a crossover UFO shipwreck Lake Michigan Triangle extravaganza.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be some good stuff. Indrid Chill comments on Twitter, as a lifelong Southern Minnesotan, I spent way more time than I should on Facebook trying to figure out if I know any Strickfields. So our Legend or Lie segment with my completely made up, what's a generic white person name, Strickfield, fooled somebody. Did not fool Sam though.
I have to say, it definitely, the name sounds, it sounds like something I've heard in some, and then the Strickfields encountered, I don't know, Dogman or something. I don't know. There's something about that name that, sounds like a thing. So I don't blame this person for, this entity, Indrid Chill, for looking into it.
Yeah, I think I've read enough of these encounter reports that I sort of absorbed just the naming conventions of witnesses. I don't know if that makes sense, that idea of yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, maybe you took, two parts of, names. Strick came from the last name of someone who had an encounter, and Field is kind of more generic, but, I don't know, maybe you, combined them. There's a word for that I can't think of with my sick brain right now.
A portmanteau.
Yes.
Yes, a portmanteau. Actually, that legend or lore was tough because I was not at all sure that it wasn't a real story or close enough to a real story that I, might have just thought I thought of it, but really didn't. Yeah. Okay. Born to Run contacted us on Instagram and pointed out that one of Sam's stories from our Paranormal is Personal episode reminded them of the legend of the Vardiger, which is what is a Vardiger, Sam?
Yeah. So it was I don't remember. Was it Swedish?
Some kind of
Scandinavian. Yes.
Scandinavian. Yeah.
Yeah, so a Scandinavian sort of entity, but it's basically the spirit sort of showed up prior to the actual person showing up. The thing I was sensing, the thing that was happening before the thing was going to happen. If that makes sense. They said it's kind of has a similarity to a doppelganger, but this is really sort of a timeline glitch in a way.
Yeah, and it's sort of related to the story of you being asleep and your dad, or hearing your dad coming home, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because I was going to say, when I read it, that was the story. He just sent us the Wikipedia, he or she, just sent us, or whomever, just sent us the Wikipedia link, to this thing. And so then I said, oh, was there a specific story that made you think of this? Because when I read it, there was a specific story that came to mind. And he said the one of me thinking that my dad had come home while I was sleeping on my bed. And that was what popped into my head too. So we were on the same wavelength there. So I thought that was interesting that without him saying, I thought of the same story.
And I didn't think of that. So good job, everybody but me. I guess. I like the idea of sort of the doppelganger thing, but like you said, the timeline glitch where it hasn't
Yeah.
happened yet, but you're
Yeah.
sensing it happening. It's not really a premonition. It's more just like time is out of sync. My Doctor Who loving brain enjoys that. One more comment from Forgotten Darkness Podcast on Twitter. I'm totally an SPR, Society for Psychical Research person, too much a believer for skeptics, but way too skeptical for most believers. That's where I find myself sort of falling into on the spectrum as well with these things. I find the stories fascinating, but I'm not sure to what degree I believe they are what most people believe they are, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's where I am too, because, you know, I can watch different shows or, you know, hear stories and be like, that is not an orb. I'm sorry, but orbs aren't a thing. But I think I'm not going to say I buy into it, but I like to just not suspend my own reality, but like set my own things aside to just have fun in the moment. So sometimes I might come across as like, wow, that's Sam. She buys everything she hears, but it's more for the fun of it, right? Like, it's fun to believe these mysterious type things exist and happen.
Yeah, I think it's a mature thing to be able to entertain ideas
Mm-hmm.
without believing them and sort of play around with ideas and theories about things. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for the feedback on this episode. We are going to be returning next Monday. And what are we going to be talking about next Monday?
Yeah, so we were tackling Dogman next week. And originally we were going to do one Dogman episode, but we have decided to break it into two parts. So in one part we're going to look into the legends and the lore around wolves themselves and attitudes, especially American attitudes towards wolves throughout history, and then dive into actual dogmanny. That would be a
Dog
name.
Manny.
Dogman-ish sightings throughout the Great Lakes.
And not to actually the day before that episode comes out, we
Yeah.
will have our Halloween Q&A episode, which will appear on Halloween. We've got some great questions sort of about Halloween and about our attitudes toward Halloween and about some of our attitudes toward other spooky, interesting things.
And
So,
there
go
is
ahead.
still time to get some questions in. You're going to be listening to this on Monday, and I believe we're set to record the next day. So you will have maybe 24 hours-ish to hurry up and get those last-minute questions. And I'm a little sad no one's asked us what our favorite Halloween candy is yet, so someone should ask us that. Just saying.
I can probably arrange that, yeah. So,
doesn't count if it comes from the saucer wife.
Oh, okay.
You can't push somebody into asking the question.
She's come up with some legitimate questions that have, yeah.
Your family and friends have really stepped up with the questions. Mine have not. So if you're one of my family or friends listening, ask us some questions.
They already know the answers. So
that's true. Not yours.
Not mine. No. Thank you for listening and or watching. And we'll be back next week with Halloween Q&A and the lore of wolves.
Yes. All right. See you next time.
Bye.